All right, happy Monday. We have a 12-game slate on the docket today, including two doubleheaders. So we've got two very important games today. So we've got the Royals and the Guardians in a pretty tightly contested AL Central. So I think there's three games that separate them. So these are two very important games today. And then we have the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. Big games for the Red Sox. They are now 3.5 games out of the wild card. So they have to start putting the pedal down with, roughly 31 games or something like that left. So we're getting close on time. But let's talk about the recap yesterday. But as always, before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, all that good jazz. All right, recap from yesterday. Oh, what could have been. We ended up going 10-5 on games. However, the Twins and the Reds. The Reds blew it on a walk-off two-run home run. They had a one-run lead. Twins were up by one heading into the ninth, gave up two and lost. So, wow, we could have went 12-3. Would have been an absolutely magical day, to be honest. We would have hit another parlay. We would have been up pretty good. We would have hit the upset parlay. Man, would have been a hell of a day. So, very frustrating from that regard that we ended up having two games get blown in the ninth. Wow, that was sad. But Houston came through for us last night. That was massive. Kind of came in and saved the night a little bit. We hit the Houston-San Diego Yankees parlay, so that was huge. Let's see, the Cubs. I knew it, man. I knew it. The fish on getaway day. You don't bet against them. I said it yesterday, and I'm kicking myself in the ass, but the Cubs had absolutely just dominated them, and they had opportunities. So it was only a 3-1 game heading into the eighth inning. They just couldn't find hits, which is crazy. And then the Braves just got kind of shelled by the Nats. They couldn't hit. And we already talked about the Twins and Reds, and then the Angels just look like crap. So it is what it is heading into this Monday. Look at the tracker, down zero point 0.2 units on a Sunday. We'll take that. Sundays are pretty crazy. Hot and cold. Didn't really, let me see if there's anything really worth discussing on there. I didn't put it on there today. A few guys that are kind of hot against Mitch Keller. So Cody Bellinger, Ian Happ, and Dansby Swanson. That said, most of those were at home. We know Mitch Keller is Jekyll and Hyde when he's home and away. Jalen Duran and Yoshida have pretty hot splits against Jose Barrios, which we'll talk about. Peralta, Profar, and Cronenworth have not had a lot of success against Kyle Gibson. And my cat's going to talk to us here. All right. Jose Barrios has a okay track record against Boston, and then Mitch Keller has struggled a little bit against the Cubbies, but like I said, a lot of that is away. So kind of a Jekyll and Hyde dude here. Let's get into the first game on the card. Game one of the doubleheader, Kansas City and Cleveland. We got Cole Ragans, who's been pitching pretty decent, going up against Nick Sandlin. So this is essentially a bullpen game for the Indians. Sandlin's probably going to go 1 to 2 innings, and then they'll just keep passing it off to the bullpen. If we look at Reagan, he's got a 2.7 ERA. He's given up 6 earned runs in his last 4 away starts. So he's been quite good on the road. That said, last game wasn't amazing. I guess it was pretty decent. It looks worse than what it is. He gave up 4 earned runs, but he only did that on 3 hits. So take that what you will. 1 second. All right. So, yeah, give me Kansas City in this game. Over under at 8 with the wind blowing in. That's a tight one. I would say maybe over. I do love the over in game 2. All right, next game. Blue Jays, Red Sox. Yariel Rodriguez going up against Cutter Crawford. I don't know if this is right. Crawford just pitched the other day. Everything says it's him. I don't really think it's going to be him. If it is him, he's pitching on like 3-4 days rest. It would have to be like a very condensed, where he's almost like just an opener. So this doesn't make sense. I'm pretty sure he's not pitching, but DK doesn't even have it bettable yet. I would assume it's somebody else. If this is a Red Sox bullpen game, it kind of changes things. So I don't love this game. until I know exactly what's going on. But I think Yariel Rodriguez gets hit very hard. We saw the Red Sox jump out to an early lead yesterday and just kind of blow it. They ended up getting swept by the D-backs. They are in critical mode. They have to start winning. So I think they beat the Blue Jays. I think they win both games today, honestly. So huge 2 games for them today. I think Yariel Rodriguez has pitched okay, right? But then again, he's given up 9 earned runs in his last 2 games. I just expect him to get spanked. He's had some control issues. He does okay. He's much better at home than he is away. So I like the Red Sox to just thump them today. Both games, actually. All right, next game, Astros at the Phillies. Astros, like I said, came through for us last night. Struggled against Dean Kramer for a little bit, and then got to him for 3. And then they ended up hitting back-to-back home runs last night, which was massive. I was getting a little nervous after Kikuchi gave up the 3-run homer. We've got Zach Wheeler going up against Ronel Blanco, so pretty damn good pitching matchup. Blanco's 2.7 away, Wheeler's 2.4 home. So really good pitching. Blanco's last outing wasn't his best. Didn't make it out of the 4th, ended up giving up 5 earned runs. He's given up at least 2 earned runs in 9 of his last 10 starts. So he is going to give up runs, especially against this type of offense. This is a very potent offense that is, they're a roller coaster, and they started to find it, especially yesterday in that last game of the Royals. If we look at Wheeler, he's been pitching really well. He's only given up 5 earned runs in his last 4 starts. He's had 1 game versus Houston and did not give up a run. So take what you will out of that. I like the Phillies today. I think Blanco gets hit. I would really kind of lean towards maybe like a first 5. If we know Blanco's going to give up some runs, could be good to just target Philly on the first 5 just because their bullpen is a little sus. It's gotten a lot better over the last week or so, but still a little sus with that bullpen. All right, next game, Cubbies at the Pirates. Tough one. I mean, Keller at home is, like I said, he's different. He's got a 2.58 home. Jameson Taillon away is worse. He's got a 4.65 away. If we look at Keller, he did pitch in Chicago pretty good. 6 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs earlier this year. If we look at his last outing against the Texans, or not Texans, I'm ready for football season. Against the Rangers, 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs. So it was really good for him to get a solid away start under his belt after giving up like 16 runs the previous 2 against the Dodgers and the Padres, I believe. So if we look at Taillon, 13 earned runs over his last 3 starts, and that was against the Tigers, the Guardians, and the White Sox. 3 teams that really haven't been tearing the cover off the ball offensively lately. So that's a red flag for me. It's just a question for the Pirates is will they hit? The only thing that gives me confidence is Taillon's not a huge strikeout guy. He's got a sub 20% strikeout rate. League average is like 21, 22%. So he's going to allow them to put the ball in play, which gives me a little bit of confidence that the Pirates can jump out on them early. We did see the Cubs offensively put up a decent amount of runs against the Marlins, but Keller's a better pitcher than anybody that the Marlins have. So give me the Pirates in this one very loosely. Maybe look at the Nerfy. These are two teams that predominantly haven't done well in the first inning in terms of putting up runs. So definitely a Nerfy candidate. I didn't put it on there, but kind of looking at it now, kind of like that. All right, game 2 with the Royals and the Guardians. This should just be a shit show. This is going to be ugly. Alec Marsh and Logan Allen. I mean, this is runs, and runs. Alec Marsh hasn't started a game since 7/29, thank God. But that said, his previous 2 games were actually pretty decent, but we had made a pretty good chunk fading Alec Marsh, so I'm kind of going right back to the well here. I think it's going to be Logan Allen or Cantillo, right? I've seen both listed, or maybe Joey Cantillo pitches a little bit in game 1. So I kind of want to dig in. Wherever Cantillo pitches, that's where we want to hammer because he's terrible. He's basically, you can count on him for 4 earned runs. Logan Allen, horrendous. So if you remember, kind of flashback to the Royals in the Red series, the Royals just absolutely dismantled Andrew Abbott and Nick Lodolo. So I could see a very similar situation here. I love the over in this game. I don't really want to pick a winner if we're being honest. I would go Royals just because Logan Allen's just that bad, and I think they could absolutely destroy him. And we just haven't seen the Cleveland bats just really kind of resurge. So, like I said, huge series here. So I think both teams are going to be playing hard both games. All right, next game, Yankees Nats. I like the Yankees. Potentially the under 9 is it's a little high. Mitchell Parker's not terrible. That said, we look at how he does against top 10 offenses. He is terrible. He's given up 27 earned runs in the last 6 games against top 10 offenses. But he's at home, where he does have a very good ERA of 2.82. Nestor Cortez is actually going to be his first game he's pitched against the Nats. Last 2 games, he's looked really, really solid against Cleveland and the White Sox. Hasn't allowed an earned run. If we look at the Nats, they have struggled against lefties, so they've only gotten 4 earned runs versus the last 3 left-handed starters. So I like the Yankees. Maybe look at the run line. It's kind of you got to look at that with the Yankees for value. Minus 112, so not too bad. If it were plus money, I'd be hopping all over that, but minus 112, we'll see. All right, next game, Blue Jays at the Red Sox. Game 2 of this. Jose Barrios going up against Nick Pivetta. Barrios at home, very, very good. Barrios away, a little bit of a different story. Almost a 5 ERA. That said, Pavetta's got a 5 home ERA. So Barrios has given up 15 earned runs in his last 4 away starts. So like I said, not doing too well. Pivetta has given up 10 earned runs in his last 3 starts. All of those have been away. So he has not made a home start in August. His last home start didn't look terrible. So I like him in this situation. Pit splits aren't amazing, right? For Pivetta, it's just more about giving up the long ball. He's very, very prone to the long ball. We can see that. I mean, he's got a 1.97 home runs per 9. It's like, I think, what was the stat I gave out in his last start? He'd given up at least 2 home runs in his previous 4 or 5 games. So it's all about the long ball for him. Obviously, this would be a good spot to look at guys like Vlad, maybe Springer, some of their more prolific home run hitters in this game. So it could be a good home run prop there. But like I said, huge, huge series for the Red Sox. I think they understand that. They have a massive advantage, in my opinion. It's just all going to come down to the bullpens. I mean, 2 really bad bullpens. So I can see a ton of runs in both games. All right, next game, Braves at the Twins. Max Fried going up against Bailey Ober. Really good pitching matchup here. Over-under is at 8 with the wind blowing in a little bit. So maybe look at the under. If we look at Fried, he's given up 14 earned runs over his last 4 games. He's definitely not been as solid as he has been. He's given up 2, 3, and then double 5. So he is getting better as he's come back from injury here. If we look at Ober, he's given up 5 earned runs in his last 2 starts, which frankly is a lot for him. He had been pitching extremely well. So we'll see. He's been away, so this is the first time he's been home in a few starts. I like the Twins today. I don't think you can. It's just so hard for me to trust the Braves bats. You don't know what you're going to get from them. Twins have been a little more consistent. The only thing that scares me is when the Twins are facing a lefty, their lineup is not as strong, right? They end up rolling out guys like Farmer and Margot. So offensively, they take a little bit of a hit from a production standpoint, which does scare me. So definitely one where I want to see the lineup first before I necessarily commit. But I feel pretty decent about the Twins here at home. They're a decent team. We look at the Braves, 2 games above 500 away. So I like the Twins in this spot. All right, next game, Padres at the Cards. Padres, God, they couldn't score runs yesterday, so that was really freaking annoying. They ended up pulling it out, thank God. But, man, it was tight. Didn't hit the over 8.5 for us, though, which is a bummer. All right, Kyle Gibson going up against Randy Vasquez. Man, welcome back, Randy. We haven't seen Randy in a little bit. I love the fade Randy. Kyle Gibson, he's been decent. He faced San Diego on April 1st. 4 hits, 2 earned runs. He's got a 3.93 career ERA against him. Vasquez likes to give up runs. He's got a 5+ away ERA. Gibson's a little over 5, or a little under 5. I mean, we got an over-under of 9.5, so they are expecting some runs. I don't know if I trust the Padres bats right now. They face some okay pitching. Really didn't hit them. They got to fly across the country. All the way, halfway across the country, so there is some travel. I got to go Cards in this spot. Cards are just kind of rolling a little bit. I like them I like how they're playing right now. Playing good defense. I'll just take them there. All right, might be an unpopular pick here, but I like the White Sox. Plus money, fourth game of this series. Tigers have handily defeated them. You got Davis Martin. Dude's done really well. He's only given up 3 earned runs in his last 3 starts. Giants, Yankees, and Oakland. You got Ty Madden on the other side for the Tigers. This dude was getting rocked in AAA. He's got almost an 8 ERA in AAA, 79 innings pitched. He's given up 70 earned runs. He's got a 177 whip. That's terrible. I don't even know what to say about that. That's awful. So I like White Sox first 5. Let's isolate Davis Martin and Ty Madden. I think the White Sox should be able to get to him. Last game, this is almost like a getaway day. So we treat it almost like a Sunday. White Sox first 5. There's too much value there at plus money. 100%. All right, Rockies, Marlins. Edward Cabrera going up against Ryan Feltner, I believe. I didn't necessarily see a listed pitcher, but I'm pretty sure it's Ryan Feltner. Feltner's 1-10. That said, he's pitched super good in his last 3 home games. He's only given up 4 earned runs. This is a tough one. I kind of want to go Rockies here, but at the same time, I don't trust either of these pitchers. Maybe look at the over. I don't know. I put Marlins on here. I'm not touching this game. I want nothing to do with this game. If we look at the splits for Feltner, he's given up a 287 average to lefties, 266 to righties. Cabrera's 228 to lefties, 246 to righties. Only concern about Cabrera, he gives up a lot of hard contact. He's got a 46% hard hit percentage, almost a 90 mile an hour exit velo. His walk rate's always a problem. He's got a 13.3% walk rate. That said, he has been significantly better as of late. But this is kind of I just want to throw up just looking at this game. Like I said, maybe the over. That'd probably be the only thing I would touch is the over. All right, last game here. Rays at the Mariners. Ryan Pepio going up against Bryce Miller. Super good pitching matchup. But we've seen the Mariners hit. Mariners, they're starting to hit a little bit, although that could come crashing down today. But Rays have just not been hitting. 208 over the last 14 days, 174 over the last 7. So there's actually a team that's hitting worse than the Mariners. If we look at Pepio, he's got a 3.5 away ERA. He's had 2 games back from injury. He's looked fantastic. He gave up 2 earned runs versus Oakland, didn't give up a run versus the Diamondbacks. So he's looked pretty damn good coming back here. And then we've got Bryce Miller. Bryce Miller at home is a different beast. He's only given up 2 earned runs in his last 3 games, but he's put up a lot of shutouts at home. So we see this over-under at 7, and the under is favored. So I do think it'll be a very low-scoring game. The Rays bullpen took some dings in that Dodgers series for sure. Got a little taxed, and they're flying to Seattle. So I would go Mariners here. I think Pepio, I don't think he makes it through unscathed. I think they do get a couple off of him. So I like the Mariners. So best bets, I'll be honest, guys, a really late start today. I didn't have time to do. Obviously, I did all the research. We don't cut corners on that, but I haven't had time to look necessarily at what bets I want to do today. There are a couple that I do have locked in, but other than that, I will post them in the pinned comments later after I've had some time to kind of digest exactly what I want to do. So in terms of the bets I have, KC Cleveland game 2 over 8, lock that in. That number has got to jump up. I know the wind's blowing it a little bit, but just 2 really bad pitchers. Come on, that's just way too low. This should be like 9. So I thought there was some really good value there. And then give me KC money line game 1. Trusting Cole Reagans against the bullpen game for the Guardians. Like I said, just a huge series. KC coming off a loss yesterday. I like them in this spot. I know Cleveland's won a couple, but I think KC kind of punches them in the mouth here early. All right, and then one of the plays I locked in was the White Sox first 5 play at plus money. I believe I got it at plus 124 last night. And then the KC Cleveland Nerfy. So kind of combined those at plus 285. Nick Sandlin's been pretty good. I don't think he's given up an earned run in his last 4 or 5 starts. So I like that. I think Reagans has some success. We've seen Cleveland struggle against lefty bats. So I think he gets through the first inning pretty clean. So I like that parlay a lot. And And then some props I was looking at: Ober over 5.5 Ks, Kyle Gibson over 3.5. That line's usually like 5.5. So I know the Padres don't strike out a ton, but we did just see we saw a lot more Ks in the series against the Mets. We saw guys like, oh gosh, can't think of the first pitcher, not Quintana, whoever it was. His line, Severino, his line was 3.5, and he had 5 by the end of the third inning. So they have been striking out a little higher clip lately. And then Cole Reagan's over 6.5 Ks at plus money. This guy's been striking out between 7 and 9 people pretty much like clockwork over his last like 6 or 7 starts. So just good value there. Nestor Cortez over 4.5 Ks. This line's pretty low. This feels like this should be 5.5. So just jumping on value there at minus 135. Wallner for the Twins over a hit run or an RBI at minus 120. And you can get his just to get a hit at plus money right now. Pretty crazy. I wouldn't be shocked if he went yard today. And then Arozarena, I spelled his name wrong, I see, but him to get a hit, just kind of like an FU to his old team, and that's at minus 165. So I just think he might show up and have a day today just because of that. And then the Nerfy I talked about, KC and Cleveland in Game 1. And then that Cubs and Pittsburgh might make it on there. That's another one I might post in the pinned comment. But some other props I was looking at. Houston, Philly under 8 at minus 115. Houston run line, so I do think it's going to be a tight game. So Houston plus 1.5. I was hoping for a little more value, minus 155. I was hoping that was going to be closer to like minus 135. I think that slips a little bit and could get some value later in the day. I think Philly, I mean, they're already at minus 162. I just want to see how the line movement is on that during the day. And then Cubs and Pirates under 8.5. 8.5 is just kind of a lot for those two teams. I think one of the bats goes cold. Just based on recent history, one of them just won't hit today. All right, so like I said, the fun parlay, upset parlay, everything, I will post later in the pinned comments. Just got a late start and wanted to make sure I got this video out to you guys. So appreciate you tuning in. Give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you tomorrow.